Hello and welcome back to the Crusades of the Purple Knight. We've finally made it to the dizzy heights of the level 14, and Purple is sitting here in the Lordsmarch Plaza, cooling his feet in yet another fountain. Which is quite appropriate actually, because in the last couple of days we've had some fairly freakish weather here in the UK, these flash floods. And for the first time, my downstairs actually got flooded. There was a drain blocked outside, and like a muppet, I was there in my bare feet, bailing the water out onto the road with a bucket, and ignoring the fact that the issue that was causing the whole thing was this blocked drain that I should have gone straight for. So I ended up using every towel in the house to try and contain the floodwaters downstairs, and I've spent the last couple of days washing everything up. So happy days. There was no big damage anyway, so that was the main thing. Lesson learned. Next time, go straight for the drain. It was an interesting insight into how the mind can panic a bit when faced with a situation like that. Like in certain situations in this game that we play, when everything's going just fine, then you tend to make the right decisions, and everything's sort of steady away. But as soon as you're faced with, like, let's say you take a big hit and lose half your health, and maybe you do something a bit silly then as a result of that, or maybe it's just me that does that, like ignoring the red crown at the back who's been causing me to lose half of said health, that kind of thing. Right, quests that we've done up to this point, we've finished the whole of Ravenloft, that's the level 11s and the level 12s. And I had a go at the "And the Dead Shall Rise," which is the Lich quest, the Spire of Validus in the Delera's graveyard. And I got to the end boss, and as one or two of you had said already, the Lich, that was really tough. He was punishing damage-wise, and I found it difficult to damage him. And really, he should have killed me, so that was a tough old quest to do. That was it's deceptive actually, because you can cruise through the rest of it, then you get to this boss and it really is hard. Add to that the collapsing floor at the end, and you've got a bit of a challenge on your hands. Otherwise, he's been doing rather well. Enhancements wise, as I mentioned, we've been building back up into this Harper agent tree. We've now got the know the angles back again, so we're just after the intelligence to damage, and offensively we've got it cracked then. This thing here, this Eldritch Tempest, is very good, very strong. That's on a 30-second cooldown, and I throw that in as often as I can whenever I'm surrounded by opponents, which is all the time virtually. I'm still been leaning quite heavily on the firewall as like an opener, but doing less of in fact it's not even on the bar anymore, the web, partly due to the fact that I've just acquired the delayed blast fireball, and that would blow the web away anyway. So the focus is definitely on attack now rather than control. I do have the dancing ball. That's going to be my attempt to control Reapers, because I still will try with the hold monster, but that's been failing quite a bit lately. I think we're going to need the extra levels that the mass hold will bring to the table for the holding side. I've not even been able to try the hold person, because as you know, in Ravenloft it's all scarecrows and flesh golem and what are those little poop thrower things, dretchers, anything but people. Would that work on a dretch, the whole person? I don't know. That's still the same. So the plan is to, as quickly as possible, get the intelligence to damage back on, and then we'll build back into the Pale Master tree. I have added a... I didn't realise you could get them. It's a negative healing. We have no negative healing amp on our gear, which is a bit catastrophic given that, you know, how this build is, what the focus is. So, I took the liberty of acquiring a... Where is it? Where did I put it? I'll find it in a minute. Or not. Oh, come on. Of course it's going to be the last one I come to. Why wouldn't it be? Okay. So, Sapphire of negative amplification. So that, 24, going with the enhancements we've got in this tree. I've got some negative amp in there as well. It's giving us a nice little boost now to the... oh, hang on, it's hover over the hit points, isn't it, to see the amp. So yeah, we've got 52 negative healing amp, which is... It's not amazing by any means, but neither is it terrible. And we've been doing pretty well on the sort of defences healing side. So we've got our 4 short-term buffs back again now. So we've got Death Aura, Displacement and Haste, all of which are extended. You can see we're beginning to have a decent duration now. That Haste and Displacement are getting up towards 3 minutes, which is lovely. And the Death Aura for some reason is lagging behind. I don't know why is that, because... Why is that? It's not a lower level spell, is it? Maybe that's just the way it's... drawn up. It's a shame they can't all be... They are similar duration, but if they were exactly together... The Death Aura and the Know the Angles are kind of together, aren't we? Let's do that. Let's put those two together. So whenever one runs out... Because it doesn't actually tell you when Know the Angles runs out. So when the Death Aura runs out, we'll put those two back on together. And when one of the Haste or Displacement goes, those two go back together. I think that's the best way I can do it. Okay. So yes, nothing new aside from that augment. Now if you wanted to know, that augment comes from the... I've written it down. The Blue Water Inn. On the first floor, you've got to go up the steps to the vendor. First floor of Ravenloft, and you can get one in exchange for some mysterious remnants and... what do they call them? Vistani totems, which you get for completing every Ravenloft quest. So, just something to bear in mind. I don't think there's anything else here. Nope, that's about it. The waffle was curtailed this time. No new gear. No, nothing really that crazy, just similar enhancements to what we had before. So, I was thinking we could go through one of these level 12 quests in the Lordsmarch Plaza this time around. These are relatively new to the game. And all but one I quite like. There's one that's kind of a whodunit thing, which I really just don't know the way through at all. But the other 3 I think are pretty good. So if you were contemplating spending points on this, it's called the Peril of the Planar Eyes, I think. In fact, is it one of the ones on the sale? If you don't have all the content, well worth checking the summer sales, because some of the quest packs are on sale at the moment. Although I think this was part of the... was this part of the free quests when that went up? I can't remember. Okay. So this one's called Seizing the Dawn. And you have to collect 4 crests, complete a a puzzle with those, and then make your way to the end. If it sounds simple, it can sometimes be a bit problematic, because sometimes the crests aren't always in the same places. So I will try and point out where they can be as we go along. True to form, 3 hours to buff, 2 minutes to do the quest.
Is reported to be somewhere within this network of twisting desert canyons. Now the hunt for the artifact truly begins.
Well, that second one, the big boom, was the Eldritch Tempest, the tier 5 thing. That really is devastating.
Something glinting in the back corner of the cavern catches your eye.
So that's the first crest, and as far as I know, that's always down here.
No doubt more searching will turn up the others.
Let's always try and fight inside these things if we can. Okay. I was about to go the wrong way there. Now what can I do with these little things? The answer is I better have Featherfall for this section. We could have had a Finger of Death by now, but I doubt our DC would be good enough to get much result with it. Right, so the second crest, I think it's the crest of the maze, is around this area. It can be on the floor. I think we can see it down there. Just be careful when you drop down there, because there's a load of scorpions pop up. If you just run off quickly, you might be able to avoid fighting them. If it's not down there, it can be... Let's just show you this quickly. Up the steps, ladder or steps or whatever you want to call it. It can be up in this area. I think, could it be where I've just been there, or here in this area perhaps? Somewhere, or here, there, that's where it can be, if not down at the bottom. You can see them all down there, we can just bypass that. So that on the left there that we saw is where we're going to bring the crests back to complete the puzzle. And we need to find another 2.
The laugh-like hoots of hyenas come from the tunnel ahead.
Oh, nice. Finally it worked. It certainly doesn't always work, but it's still worth a try against a Reaper. Okay. Now the third crest can be down in this little pool, easy to miss, so check that on your way down. There is a elemental thing down here which always has a crest.
The pool begins to ripple as you approach. Then the pool churns as an elemental flows up and attacks.
And then sometimes
and the magical barrier protecting the pool
the other side passage can have a crest too. No, so the only other option as far as I'm aware is right at the end, down in, down next to a bit of a pool at the end. So we're going to go all the way to towards the end of the quest now. That was an attempt at the delayed blast fireball. Now that's nice for a second, but it's a precious second of time. The Tempest thing actually knocks the opponent down as well. I don't think there's a save on that, so that's nice.
A terrified scream echoes through the canyon.
Fear Reaper, I tend to just cuddle him rather than try and hold him, because as long as you're next to him, it's not that bad. Okay, so we're looking down at the bottom here for the crest, somewhere down there.
You notice the motionless form
There we
of
go.
death crumpled upon the rocks below.
Okay, so we'll go and put these in the puzzle thing and see if we can remember the combination for they're all the same combination, these puzzles. It's like the one in the what I call the bear raid, the Dryad and Demigod raid. So the combination is either 1 2 3 4 2 or is it 4 4 3 2 1? Let's try 1 2 3 4 2. Nice one. If you make a boo-boo of it, the green thing in the middle resets them all and you can try again. The solutions I'm sure will be in the wiki to the puzzle if you get stuck. It's this way we're going, isn't it? I'll refresh the buffs before we get to the business end. We've just got to get into the final room now.
As you step inside the temple, you notice that the floor is totally free of the sand and dust of the desert. Everything is strangely clean.
Now, are they affected by flame? Yes. Okay, watch those spell points. Another one. There is a shrine before the end, should we need it.
You hear the sound of heavy footfalls echoing down the tiled halls.
Come on, come off cooldown. Yes, beautiful. I just missed the one. Whenever I'm faced with a situation like that, I'm always casting an eye over the Tempest to see how much cooldown it's got left. Pretty good. I'm just being sparing on the spell points. If we get straight in there, we'll probably be alright with the buffs.
For many long years, this place relied upon secrecy to protect the eye. That time has clearly passed.
Get some defences
Very
up,
well.
some dodge,
If you would be the one
shield,
to bear it to safety, then prove your
buffs. Can she be damaged by fire? Yes. But not by acid by the looks of it, so let's get some fire on. Fire imbue. That looks better. Nice, okay. Not spectacular, but we'll take it.
This charge is now yours to bear. Do not let it fall into darkness. We will be watching. You
I think
wonder
there can
about
be
the
some
Davis
fairly nice
Garden
caster
birds
sticks
who
from
placed the
these.
Eye of Irian
Oh, what's
in your
that we've
path.
got? Actually, that's not if we were a paladin, that would be a half decent item. As it is, probably not, especially as I'm going to when we get to 15, I think my choice, because we want some spell DCs, we're going to use the esoteric, the caster's set from Shan, which comes with some glasses, so we're going to have to take off these deadly and double strike glasses. I'm going to have to find or craft something with deadly on, so we don't lose that, but double strike is on the Mantle of Fury anyway, so that's alright. And the glasses are going to be replaced with those, is it Dusk Cleansers that have potency and insightful potency, which will actually be very good for our imbues, you know, flitting between all the different ones. It's going to make things even better for us with that. Otherwise, I'm really pleased with how this is going. The gear is certainly not optimised, it's just the best I could find for him from the bits and pieces that I've been digging up from other characters and whatnot. And he's been going along on Reaper 1 really nicely. The self-healing is enough that he doesn't get into too much trouble. The damage output is decent, again to stop the build-up of enemies around him. I think people have made the point with leveling this type of build in the past. We could certainly get away, I think, without using any offensive spells at all. We could get away with just our 4 buffs here, and I'm sure we would do alright there. Might take us a bit longer, and don't forget, when you're not casting offensive spells at all, you're missing out on some of the nice enhancements. There's this Force's Point thing. When you cast an offensive spell, you get a stack of Force's Point +1 to hit and damage, and that goes up to 5 times. So we really want to be at least doing one in a sort of a lead up to combat, which I am generally doing with the Wall of Fire. But I can hear what people are saying about taking a cheap, low-cost spell-like ability just for a point. I had tried the magic missile in this... Oh, actually, yeah, talking about that, I tried two. I tried the magic missile in the Archmage tree, spell-like ability, and then the necrotic touch in this tree, and neither of them seemed to trigger the Force's Point. Because if you've noticed, when I'm doing the spell casts, it actually flashes up on screen that it's triggered when something walks into the Wall of Fire. So I'm wondering if it doesn't work with these spell-like abilities. At least that's my experience. And then the other one in here, Force's Edge. Again, on an offensive cast, we get +1 to critical threat range. So, and when we want it is when we're going into a combat, and when we tend to cast this firewall, well, always is when we're about to go into a combat. So I think that synergizes pretty well, and then we get the ticking fire damage on the group that we're going against. So maybe I could be on the lookout for other similar, I don't know if there are similar, but maybe we could be on the lookout for other similar things, sort of ticking AoE damages against the group that we could use to trigger that thing further on. Okay, I think that's about it. The plan now is to complete the 2 others that I like in this chain, and then we'll go on to the what's it called? Diplomatic immunity one, the other level 12 chain. We'll do that. And then perhaps the level 13 Lordsmarch chain, or bits of it. So that's what's in the pipeline. So you might get to see one of the level 13 Lordsmarch quests as the next episode. We'll see how we go. Okay, thanks very much as always for looking. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.